Okay, so I have the tea infuser basket here. It is Parmesan hard cheese stage, perhaps. It's past leather hard. It's not bone dry. When I go to scrape it with a metal rib, it flakes off really nicely. And I have gone around this form as it's dried. I've gone through the stages of using the rasp and the hex tool, and to get this wall very thin. I want the wall very thin, and actually, like whenever you have a perforated wall on a piece, there's a relationship between the size of the hole and the thickness of the wall. That's actually really important. It is a visual relationship, but it's also a weight relationship. And but with this tea infuser, what I'm looking for is the diameter of the hole to be just slightly wider than the thickness of the wall. And so here's my drill that I'll be using to drill the holes. So you can imagine how thin I'm trying to scrape this wall to be. The other reason I'm really concerned with getting this wall thickness right is what I mentioned before, which is that when you place this into your mug, you'll have the actual tea liquid will be displaced by whatever the volume is of the strainer. And so I don't want a lot of actual material taking up room that could be tea. So those are the two reasons I'll spend a very long time actually shaping this and scraping it down to be the proper thickness. If you feel like your piece is getting a little bit too dry, you can always just take a slightly damp sponge. Because this is now so thin, just a slight dampening with water will give you what you need in terms of rehydrating it a little bit. And you'll be able to tell when you go to drill your holes, if it feels like it's kind of punching through the clay wall rather than moving smoothly, then your piece might be a little bit too dry and you may be in danger of actually really popping a hole in your piece. Sometimes I'll take just a pin tool or a dull wooden tool, and I'll just kind of make an outline of where the holes are going to end here. I like the holes to kind of follow the rim a little bit, so they kind of go down with the swoop of the piece. And what I'll do is drill the holes before bisquing, and then I actually won't clean these up until after the piece gets bisqued, and the reason for that is just the fragility of the wall. And so when they come out of the bisque kiln, I'll sand them a little bit. Okay, so you can use a drill bit, just a drill bit in your fingers if you don't have a Dremel tool or a power drill. You could use a small power drill if you wanted to, as long as it'll hold the size drill bit that you want. And you could also use a tool like this type of tool, which is just a little bit easier to hold than just holding a drill bit. Whatever way you feel comfortable with is fine. Okay, so I'll use my Dremel tool just on a pretty low setting. And I'll hold the piece so that it doesn't vibrate too much. And that's the reason I can't really do this using the pillow, because if it vibrates, I lose control of the holes a little bit. I like the holes to be very close together without joining, and so you can see I slipped a little bit there. So what I'll do is, and this has always worked for me, I'll just take a little bit of clay and work it into there where I've got that joined hole. And then I'll just come back and re-drill in that area. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to dry, but then I'll just come back and re-drill those holes, and it won't even be noticeable. So the only real thing that's not fixable is if your piece is too dry and you actually punch out like a larger area. But you could even, if you're worried about it, go in with your hand drill and just like drill out the holes again this way. So you can see the hand drill's a little bit more easy to control if you're worried about it. Okay. If your piece is drier, you may find that small bits of clay fly around as you're drilling. So if that's happening, just put on one of your dust masks to protect yourself from breathing in the dust. These small bits of clay will dry very quickly.